want to accelerate your inking skills and sketch in nature, then this challenge is for you.
Now and again, we need a challenge. Challenges make us realize there's a workable solution to most obstacles. You know, that little voice sometimes that says, I'd love to practice sketching, but I don't have time. I don't know what to draw. My favorite pen is out of ink. I've heard the tools don't matter, that you should be able to create using anything. For master artists, the tools, their setup, and having enough time, all of these are irrelevant. They can draw awesome artwork anywhere, anytime, using any supplies. My preference is to have everything perfect. The right materials, proper lighting, an ergonomic setup, photographic references, and a full day in front of me. But I'm also striving to improve. And on a recent hot summer road trip across Canada, the ideal challenge presented itself. I've been told to advance your inking technique, you must first improve your drawing skills. And the best exercise to improve drawing skills is sketching from observation, especially out in nature, since the outdoor elements can affect your drawing performance in unexpected ways. So, introducing a challenge as part of your art practice routine will not only improve your skills, but it can also change your perspective on what you're capable of. For my first sitting, I sketched this faraway tree line hugging the lake. I could barely make out the outlines of the individual trees. My challenge with the sketch was simply to interpret the different shapes I observed by shading them with textures. As an added challenge, I went directly to ink. Then I thought about Claude Monet. He created with spontaneity, capturing natural parts of a landscape or a scene with quick, casual brushstrokes. He painted exactly what was in front of him. Instead of sketching a scene and then completing it comfortably in a studio, Monet painted the entire work in the open air, and this became known as plein-air technique. I've always been of the mindset to use the best tool for the job, and that's why I typically use different sizes of pens when inking a piece. I'll use a fine tip for details and faraway objects, and a thicker nib for objects closest to the viewer. For each of the sketches on this trip, I used one pen only, the first one that I grabbed from my travel toolbox for that specific session. To achieve line variety from a single pen, I decreased the pressure on the pen for finer lines, and I went over the lines for a bolder effect. This challenge was to interpret the landscape and different shapes with quick, spontaneous strokes. It helps with growing comfortable with the plein air technique of drawing exactly what is in front of you, and a bonus if you're using only one pen size. For my second sitting, I drew parts of whatever was in front of me. No matter how complex or uninteresting, I drew straight to ink 5 to 10 minute sketches of various subjects. With these, I focused on the direction of light to inform where to ink the shadows. This challenge is a time sketch with various light sources, and it helps with capturing natural light under time pressure and shading techniques. The first 3 days my sketches were terrible. The pressure of drawing on site with everything being different than what I'm accustomed to made me forget the art fundamentals from my master's studies. I felt hurried to capture what was in front of me quickly, and I was very disorganized. Imagine it's intolerably hot and you're getting bit by mosquitoes, and the setting is so different from creating in an art studio. What got me on track was slowing down and recalling what I know. First, the source of light, so you know where to render shadows and where to put fewer details or no rendering at all for the highlights. 2, establishing a horizon line to get a sense of perspective, depth, or scale, and having a focal point in the composition to help with the arrangement of values. This challenge is not letting circumstances dictate how well you can create. It helps with developing resilience as an artist and applying what you know regardless of your limitations at the time. By the way, if you enjoy learning, do check out the description below for the companion blog article to this video, where you can also download the free PDF checklist of these exercises. The link is in the description. For the next 2 sittings, my focus was on rendering more distinct textures. If you've been following my channel, you know that I rely on photo references. As well, I lean on other illustrators for ideas on how to make decisions with my line work. There's nothing wrong with that, except references can only take us so far. If your goal is, like me, to create original work from imagination with confidence, then plein air exercises are a means to get there. Some of the artists of today whom I admire for having grown their art skills through a routine of sketching from observation and imagination are Karl Kopinski, Paul Heaston, Louis Collan, and Kevin Zich. This challenge was knowing how to render textures, hatching styles without the aid of references or additional resources. It helps with growing confidence in your rendering skills and that you can build on what you already know. For the remainder of the week, while driving across Canada on this hot summer road trip, I sketched 15-minute mini compositions aiming to capture the natural beauty from each scene. This challenge is capturing a scene in a few strokes. It helps with sketching effective thumbnails for future projects. If you don't have time to sit outside for the full duration of a project, you can sketch the thumbnail there and then later ink your project to satisfaction. I found these challenges to be amazing training, like running up a mountain with a 50-pound backpack. I can picture how strong my inking skills will be when I return to optimal conditions in my art studio. In conclusion, if you're looking to make strides with your inking skills, ask yourself if there are times when you might skip a practice session because of an obstacle that's easy to overcome. This road trip proved that there are opportunities to practice for improvement if you're willing to change your perspective on what you're capable of.
I wish you the best with your pen and ink projects. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.